So I have, oh yeah, there we go. Do you see? Got cat fur on my lips. Was just making out with Memo. Um, Welcome to Saturday. We're gonna bake some bread today. And I have one loaf shaped here already. It's proofing. I just pulled it out of the fridge. It was doing a cold proof while I was doing some grocery shopping. And we have a second loaf right here. This is fennel and caraway seeded multigrain bread. And I'm gonna shape that next. But I'm just gonna pull up the chat real fast so I can see what y'all are saying while we cook stuff. Welcome. You survived another week. How about that? How about that? Doing it. For the rye seeded bread, we're gonna coat it with some seeds. And I found my King Arthur, sorry it's backwards, we're flipped. But I found my King Arthur artisan bread topping mix, which, if you can read backwards, it was Best Buy January 25th, 2022. I'm pretty sure I got sent this as a, you know, free product when I was still working at Delish. So it is time for us to use it. It's been sitting in my freezer. It's very seedy, and I don't think it's gone rancid because it's been sitting in my freezer. But I did go ahead and toast it on the stovetop this morning. I toasted a lot of my seeds. So it should be pretty delicious. And I don't know if you can see, but Memo's hiding out because he was like, "What's up? We were making out. Why'd you leave?" I was about to go live, and 5 minutes before I went live, he was meowing at me, and I was like, "Oh, let's cuddle." And so we cuddled on the bed a little bit. And I think he's feeling a little sad that I left prematurely. But he was starting to get sick of me. He started swatting at my hand because I was petting him wrong, obviously. So there he is. He's alive. He's doing great this week. Maybe he is. I mean, the kitchen smells like yeast. Am I saying that word correctly? It smells delicious. I love making bread, and today is not like cold or even cool. It's actually perfect weather outside right now. But I have to start doing some recipe stuff for Burlap and Barrel, and so I thought let's just bake the bread so that it's ready for whatever photo shoots for different recipes that are coming up ahead of time. But after making the bread dough this morning, I went out for a walk to shop for some ingredients that I ran out of, and I have to say I'm pretty exhausted, so my energy is like still pretty shoddy, unfortunately. I have a big loaf here for the rye bread. It's probably a little bit too big for it to turn into a sandwich loaf because it's probably going to fall wider than it is taller. But since our other white bread is chilling in this properly sized loaf pan, the rye bread will have to settle for this wherever made in USA tin that I thrifted a while back. This one, if you look up my recipe for homemade bread, which is a buttermilk based bread, this is that recipe. I made a couple of swaps. I didn't have buttermilk, so I used some oat milk instead, and I used olive oil instead of butter. And I also created a cinnamon sugar swirl in the middle of this bread, so made a few modifications, but I think it's gonna bake pretty well, hopefully. In this tin, we are just going to check out my seeded rye bread recipe, which is also still on Delish. Um, we're gonna brush the loaf with water and sprinkle more seeds on top of the loaf if desired. Using a razor, sharp knife, or a pair of scissors, make 1 or 2 cuts. Oh, bread razor. Do I have that? I should have that somewhere. Emma, do you remember where I put my bread razor? We have a lom that I've never used, and we have all of my new razors, but where's my pre-existing razor? I have one, don't I? Maybe I don't. Memo, do you remember? Do you remember? Oh, I will say, if you like pretzels, this Snyder's butter flavored pretzel is absolutely amazing. So addictive. Not sponsored, but absolutely delicious. Yeah, I do not know where my razor is, unfortunately. Looks like I am more disorganized than I should be. Alright, well maybe we'll just try to use that lom that we've never used before. But anyway, this one, these two breads are supposed to be baking at slightly different temperatures. They're about 25 to 50 degrees apart. So I think I might just stay at 400 degrees for both of them. I don't know, he's like staring and sniffing the door frame. Cats are funny. Cats are delightful creatures. I am supposed to be greasing this with butter. I'm going to do it with olive oil instead, and then we're going to add the seeds in here. So, this is fancy olive oil, but I've had it for a year, and I've used it so rarely, and I'm just like, why do I keep doing this thing where I don't use stuff, and then they get old and sad? So let's use it. Do I have a favorite type of bread? I do not have a favorite type of bread, actually. We're gonna go ahead and wet my hands, and I'm gonna give this a little fold. So because it's got whole grains in it, it's a lot less stretchy than the pure white bread dough, but still pretty good. It should bake okay. I use a little bit more whole wheat than my rye bread recipe calls for, so it might be a little bit rustic here. But at the end of the day, bread is bread. Bread is bread. After the bread is in the oven, I also plan on making some salmon burgers with some canned salmon. So that's what I'll be eating for lunner. We're also going to go through the rest of my leftovers, which includes pickled beets and some tofu and whatever else we scrounged up in there. I don't know what's happening outside. Sounds pretty intense. Okay, so the loaf pan is buttered with oil, so oiled. Probably should have opened this before I got my hands oily. So this has sesame and sunflower, flax, black caraway, aka nigella, poppy seed, and anise. We're just gonna... This is basically also to help it release properly. If the seeds get stuck, maybe the bread won't as much. I'm just trying to shape the bread into like a longer log so that it fits into the pan better. So it is quite big, the loaf pan. So this will be a flatter loaf. It should be okay. Then I'm gonna drizzle a little more olive oil on top, and then we'll top it with more seeds. Already looking pretty delicious. Sorry for the Instant Pot. I cooked myself some mung bean congee. So I'll sip on that too. Just pressing the seeds in so that they don't all fall off, although some will, most will. Bread is really, really therapeutic to make, so I think a part of me was also yearning for that kind of practice almost. I feel like bread making requires you to pay attention to it in a way that few other recipes really call for. There's a relationship with the bread that you have to like really cater to in terms of time. Like I had to kind of time my shopping trip around how fast I thought this would take to proof out again. You just kind of like have to stay committed to it. So I think that's why commercialized bread is so big, because once people started working, like bread making is kind of intense to commit to, because it's not just like 1 hour, it's kind of like a whole day or two. Not all active, but a lot of it is just like you can't set it and forget it, you know? So it's a very different lifestyle, I think, than the one that we're used to these days. Which is why I think it became such a big thing during the pandemic, right? Everybody had time, everybody was home. Bread making is very sexy. Yeah, I love the textural experience of handling dough, you know, something that sticks to your hands, something that you have to like put so much muscle and work into. And I know some of you are gonna be like, ew, gross, but now that I have oily hands, I just like to wipe it on my dry ass legs, because it's basically like nature's lotion. Also, this kind of eliminates the need for me to like use a shit ton of soap to get the oil off my hands, and or, you know, wipe it onto a hand towel or like waste a paper towel. This too is also part of budget eats. Lotion and oil in one. Okay. And I will wash my hands again, don't worry. But now there's not a lot of oil left on it. Alright, so these are not going to go into the oven at the same time. I probably would have preferred the rye to be the one to go in first, since it technically should be cooking at a slightly higher temperature. So I could have potentially started this high off and then slotted this in later, but I think this one's going to proof first and be ready to go first. So we'll just keep an eye on it. In the meantime, we can get ready to start preheating our oven. And I might roast some almonds and peanuts in the oven. I bought some peanuts today from the Chinese supermarket. I bought 2 bags. Each bag is 3 pounds and $5 for 3 pounds. So about $1.67 per pound of peanuts. I think that math checks out too. So I can start the oven and heat up one of these bags. I got 3 pounds of almonds for $13 the other day. You can do that too. Let's just make sure nothing plastic is on the oven before we turn it on. Glass and metal are okay to leave on. Although I might put this away. For later. Just putting my roasted sesame seeds away. I probably could be doing this way more efficiently, but I currently am holding in pee, and so my brain is not functioning maximally. I will probably pee right after I finish putting the sesame seeds away, so I can think better. Okay, BRB. Gotta pee. I'm back. We have eliminated pee. Huzzah. I also roasted some sunflower seeds, so we can put this away too. Delicious. Amazing. Gonna save 2 tablespoons to snack on. Perfect. Perfect. Yum. Gonna drink some tea so we stay hydrated. Cheers. While we're talking about poop, so Chinese of you. Chinese people have no problem talking about their poop. So you're pooping 3 to 4 times a day? Is that sounds above average. That's amazing, guys. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, So we're making bread today. We have a seeded rye bread proofing. We have a cinnamon swirl white bread also proofing. I'm about to heat up the oven now so that we can roast some peanuts and almonds as the oven preheats for our bread. As usual, we have to dig stuff out of the oven first, such as my silicone mat. And this, which we will use for our salmon burgers soon. Trays I will use to put our bread on. When they bake, I'm going to pour a little bit of water onto the tray so that they can steam themselves a little. Okay, let us preheat the oven. Wow, this is like gonna be my first time turning on the oven in so long. So long. I think we're, knock on wood, let me not jinx myself. I think we're done with summer. So we're gonna preheat it to 350 just for the nuts. And then, oh, so sorry about that. And then after the nuts are toasty, we'll crank it up to 400 for the bread. I feel like toasting all of these peanuts is gonna be a death sentence for me because I'm just gonna be snacking on them endlessly, but I also feel like my grief depression and my seasonal depression are basically happening concurrently now, and seasonal depression is like starting earlier and earlier every year, kind of like how allergies used to be. So I feel like pretty soon I'm gonna be wanting snacks anyway, so instead of restricting myself from having them, I'm just gonna prepare myself to have them. It never works out when I want to restrict myself. I just end up snacking on other things that I wanted less and then being even more miserable than if I were just to let myself have it. I've also been staring at peanut butter a lot, so I feel like I might really be going into the thick of it this seasonal depression season. It's starting to feel like it's gonna be a rough one, but you know, if we're prepared for it, then whatever. Oh goodness. That's weird. There's moisture on the handle of this cast iron. Where is the moisture coming from? What the Do we have a scientist in here who can help me understand what's going on? That's weird. Yeah, condensation from what though? That makes sense, but I'm just like, what is the moisture in the oven from? Um, what kind of bread did you make yesterday? That's fun. This one, when it's like an inch above the lip of the pan, I feel like it's ready. And yeah, we're definitely getting there. I am also seeing a lot of air bubble happening, so I'm gonna go ahead and poke it now, just so that we don't have a super burnt spot where the dough is so thin because there's air trapped underneath. So you can actually tell if there's like translucent spots that look darker, probably an air bubble. Just collapse them a little bit so that they don't like blow up in the oven. Let me check my recipes for both of these. So the seeded rye is supposed to start at 425. And it's gonna bake for 10 minutes and then go down to 400. Maybe we can put the rye in first. But maybe not, let me see. And then the buttermilk one, the white one, is supposed to bake at 400 for 40 minutes continuously. No, 30 minutes continuously, okay. Okay, all right. I'll wing it, we'll wing it, it'll be fine. I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes for the toasting nuts, and then drink some water and think about how horribly I planned out this meal planning, because now I have no containers to put my congee into because all of my glass jars are sitting in the dishwasher, which has not run yet. So it's got all the dirty dishes in there. Whoops. I'm gonna put the rye bread closer to the oven. It's not that warm. Maybe it'll help it proof faster. Okay. Well, we do have some glass jars. Maybe I'll just drink all the mung bean juice. Drink it. Okay, I'm gonna wash out my tea jars. Sorry, I'm so scattered right now. I'm gonna wash out my tea jar so I can put my mung beans in there. The tea can go into my thermos. That's perfect. Wonderful, amazing. Look at that brain coming back. Let's move the plastic honey bear away from the oven. Okay, mental health check. I think my mental health feels like it's a 5, but it's actually an 8. And if that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. I totally understand. It's very confusing. But as a way of explaining that, if you're interested, I think I've just been more trapped in my grief rumination as of late. And so it feels like it's a 5 because I do find myself in the cycles of ruminating over, regrets. And also anxiety about not being able to travel to China to get grandma's ashes back, so that she can be buried with my grandfather. Mainly because the US is a really messy place right now. My passport's expiring next year. They're checking social media of everyone going in and out of the country apparently on their phones. Like, clearly there's no law and order anymore, or, it is debunked. And just been ruminating over all of those anxieties and regrets. But the 8 comes into play because I think over the last few years I've developed awareness of how to kind of walk myself back from the edge of rumination, whereas before I used to just like sink into it and drown in it and like hit rock bottom and stay there and then wait for my corpse to float until I'm like, reincarnated into a new iteration of recovered June. Whereas now I'm just like, oh, you're very close to the edge. Would you like to take a step back? And 8 times out of 10, I tend to be like, yeah, you're right, let's step back. And then crisis averted. 20% of the time, I still kind of drown a little bit, but I do float back up faster than before because I have that layer of awareness just purely because of practice of burning out previously. And also new perspective about how kind of pointless it is to burn out myself on these rumination treadmills. But yeah, that's why I'm like a 5-8 split on mental health lately. Today I took a walk. I tried to, get some activity in, and I'm baking bread, and I got some sun, and the weather's lovely, and the world's on fire, but it feels very warm right here, right now, in a good way. So I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts for however long it lasts, and yeah. It's really funny because yesterday, after I was ruminating about how long it's gonna take to see things settle down in the States, before I can get grandma back to China, I went to sleep, and I think I had maybe my 6th dream where my mom appeared since her passing. 4 of them happened in the 3-4 months following her death, and then I didn't see her for like a year or 2 in my dreams. And I think a few months back, there was a very brief segment of my dream where I felt like my mom was there with me, and we were like laughing and dancing in front of a mirror, like twirling about in our skirts or dresses or whatnot, and just like joking about. And last night I had a dream, I think, where I think I was traveling through Beijing with my mom. And it was a good dream. I think we both felt ourselves, but younger, not in terms of like chronological age, just in terms of like health age, like mental health age especially. We both felt more lively and light and joyous. And I woke up from that, and I just felt like, there's so many ways to interpret why I dreamt of my mom in Beijing, right? I mean, the most, I guess, close to scientific, logical explanation is I was ruminating over how I'm going to get grandma's ashes back to Beijing right before I went to sleep, and probably also paired with missing my mom. Hence, my brain projected the scenario of me hanging out with my mom in Beijing as if to kind of like resolve the fact that I'm not in Beijing and I haven't delivered my grandma's ashes But I also wonder on a more like almost, beyond this realm, on a universally spiritual level, if that was kind of like my mom coming to visit me and being like, hey, it's okay if you can't make it there, like, we're there in spirit anyway. Or if it was just mom trying to like comfort me. Whatever the case may be, I'll take it. Because not only was it nice to dream of my mom in such a lovely, lighthearted way and spend time with her in the dream realm, but it also encouraged me to finally Skype my uncle today, which I haven't done in months because my health has just been such a shit show, and I've like cut my hair so he wouldn't recognize me, and he probably would be like, yo, what did you cut your hair into? And I didn't want to deal with any of that. And so I finally felt compelled to call him up because I was like, oh, I had all this worry and rumination about not being able to get grandma's ashes delivered back to Beijing, but mom appeared in my dreams. And yeah, my uncle and my aunt seem to have not changed since the last time I called them, but since a few months ago, other things have changed. I mean, we've all gone through the heat wave, but in terms of family stuff, their daughter, my cousin's mother-in-law passed away from cancer, and she was just 63. And my mom was almost 62 when she passed. So it just feels like parents are dying younger and younger, and we're getting sicker and sicker sooner and sooner. And, I don't know if we got any closer to discovering where the origins of COVID came from, but maybe this is just nature's way of, like, culling humans in a way. Because maybe we've just done too much damage in our willful manner of co-opting every single resource. That was 10 minutes. The nuts could definitely use more time, and let me grab my other towel. Speaking of COVID, I watched Eddington yesterday. Has anyone else watched that movie? I thought it was fascinating. Hi, LA. When will the election for Mamdani start? November, I think, is the mayoral election. But Mamdani is already turning centrist. Like, he hired Cuomo's PR person. That's weird. He's on the cover of Time magazine, so he's very much being welcomed and propelled by establishment media. I'm less likely to fall into the trap of, like, savior politicians now after seeing the way that Bernie was treated, and also seeing Bernie and AOC kind of stay very mum about the genocide has been very disappointing, but illuminating nonetheless. Yeah, it's hard to dream of people when you're not ready for it. But I've started to look at my dreams as if they're an actual alternate parallel reality. You know, we talk about parallel universes sometimes jokingly, but some people take it seriously. And I think about dreams like they're a parallel reality, a parallel universe where it's kind of been exciting for me to dream anything because I've been more physically disabled than I have been in the past, and I've been more housebound. It is just almost like um, a way to travel in my own body to a different place, a different space, see different relationships and objects. And so I'm very grateful. The last 2 nights I've had very full dreams. They're very detailed and cohesive dreams. And the day before last night, that dream felt like one of those dreams where it's like serial, not breakfast cereal, but like serial TV episodic, where it's like a callback on previous dreams. And I don't know if I've actually had those dreams, but within the dreams, I'm like, oh yeah, I've dreamt of this before. And it's just like continuing and calling back to previous dreams. Um, and the last 2 nights, I've officially run out of weed. So I've been smoking a combination of red raspberry leaf and lavender. Lavender because it helps me sleep. Lavender is a sleep agent for me. But red raspberry leaf, I don't believe has any kind of psycho effects, but it makes the smoke on the lavender very smooth because lavender is highly, highly combustible. So like the smoke is really harsh on the lavender itself. But if I mix it with red raspberry leaf, it makes it a lot more tolerable to smoke. And also the red raspberry leaf I have a lot of. I bought a whole pound hoping that it would help ease my period pains, which I don't think it really does much. But it is very citrusy to smoke. So apparently a lot of people smoke herb blends to help wean themselves off of tobacco and maybe even weed. So now that I've run out of weed, I've just been experimenting with all the different herbal stuff I have on hand. I do a little bit of Googling. Obviously, smoking anything is not good for your lungs. It still creates smoke. It's still combustion. But it's been fun to experiment. And lavender and red raspberry leaf, both nights, have given me very full dreams. And I wonder if one of those herbs is contributing towards this. Maybe the lavender is just so good to improving my sleep quality that I've been enabled to recall more dreams. That's also possible. Okay, the rye bread is rising pretty fast. Yeah, this baby might be ready to bake. So let's go ahead and slide those in, both of them. Ugh. Gotta toss the peanuts a little bit. The edges are starting to burn. The center is not toasting. I might actually have to pull those out soon because this bread, I guess with the oven on, my kitchen is much warmer. So this bread is actually ready. So I should actually I'm gonna knock this down to 3 minutes. I'm gonna pull the nuts out. I'm gonna increase the oven temperature. Let's increase it now. We're gonna go up to 425, and as soon as the 3-minute timer goes off, we're gonna pull the nuts out. Yeah. And then put the bread in because we're ready. We're ready. Very exciting. I'm very excited. Yeah, no, I agree, Danny. Like, this is just their job. I think a lot of people, including myself, place a lot of hope on these people being our saviors, but they're just people. Just like doctors are people, they can only do so much. And I think it's a great thing to keep in mind that this is just their job, We expect doctors to save people, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they can't, and like, if the hospital that they're working under, same for teachers, right? You can be the most talented teacher, but if the system that you're working under isn't conducive to supporting students, you will burn out very quickly. And if you want to stay on your job and not burn out, then you kind of have to lower your standards to fit the environment that you're in. And, unfortunately for the kids, so I agree. Do I keep a dream journal? Not really. Sometimes I used to write notes about it, but in the past 2 years, I've been trying to be lazy about it, and consciously try to not hold on to things, right? And this is, I think, in line with why I've been so resistant to writing a book. Several people, my readers, my viewers, have encouraged me to write a book. I've even had one editor reach out to me repeatedly about writing a book. And my mom, before she passed, she was very much in favor of me authoring a book. But there's a part of me that's just like, what for? We do so much recording and archiving and collecting, and what for? Are we just generating this to feel like we've accomplished something with our lives? Or is there a way to encourage people to just experience things in real time? Hot nuts. Those are very hot nuts, but unfortunately under toasted for my liking. So they'll have to go in after the bread is done baking. There's always more to see, and there's always more to write about, and sometimes I go to the library and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. We write so much, we see so much, we record so much, we can weave so many different things, and then I'm just like, But there's also already so much, you know? After my mom passed away, people were like, have you read Crying in H Mart? Have you read Crying in H Mart? And then people were like, oh, you should compile all of your grief writing into a book. And I'm just like, but like, it's kind of been done. You know, like, sometimes our stories are not that different. We would like to feel different and special. But I also think that there's just already so much. There's so much well-written things out there. Maybe it's better for us all to just like sit with what's already available. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna put this bread in. Oh gosh, I did something wrong. I did something wrong. Very dangerous. Very bad. It's very hot. Hot metal rod, but I should have taken that out beforehand. But I couldn't because I was toasting nuts. Oh, this is where multitasking really fucks me up. Got too greedy. Alright, actually, let me do 10 minutes on 425 and then we can lower it. And I'm gonna put my towels over this so we don't burn ourselves. Is there a safer place for me to put this? Damn. I really wasn't thinking, was I? Nope. Okay. Alright. Okay. Yes. Great. Wonderful. Let's not burn ourselves on that rack, which I've already done just now. Ouch. You live and you learn. Okay. Maybe we take a break. Maybe I take a break and just chillax. I do have a unique voice to offer. That's great. But isn't this my medium? This and my Instagram, which are slowly becoming less and less desirable for me to continue participating in due to the role of these tech companies in the military-industrial complex and genocide and people suffering in all the ways. I don't know, like, how do we balance all of this shit, you know? Like, existing as a human being in a first world country is becoming more and more fraught. And it's not like moving out of a first world country is gonna like solve shit, you know? So that's also giving me indigestion. That's true. Yeah, Leonora, I think that's very true. I mean, I wouldn't be making anything unless I felt compelled internally to share it, right? So whatever I create is gonna come out no matter what. If I don't say it to an audience on live stream, I might write it somewhere. I might tell my friends. I think we're all kind of just computers, you know, input output sort of thing, and different computers input and output differently. It is a daunting task to write, too. It is hard to write something cohesive. And that's why I feel like writing Instagram captions are perfect sometimes, because you're capped. You're capped in terms of characters and words. And there's a natural stopping point. I don't think a lot of my writings would make sense if I had like total blank slate. I think part of why Budget Eats worked so well, for me especially, is because I work really well with restrictions set in place, guardrails, limitations. Finding my way and navigating my way within those limitations truly motivates me sometimes. It feels very like energetic inside when I'm trying to find a way to make do with more limited resources, conditions. Which is another thing about like me not working well in a big company, is there's just so much resources to draw on. Nothing feels exciting anymore. It's most exciting when you're making something out of seemingly very little. That's where the magic feels like most ripe for me. So, little baby companies, even Burlap and Barrel, as it's trying to expand, I feel myself becoming almost demotivated. And I wish that wasn't the case, but I feel it happening, as it expands as a company and a team. There's a sort of like dilution effect that comes with expansion and development. Yeah. That's true. Not all art needs an audience more than myself. I mean, sometimes, truly, ever since I stopped dating, there have been some really cool nights where it's getting close to like midnight and everything's like quieting down except for that one asshole who's just revving up and down the street on his demuffled car or motorcycle or whatever. And I'll turn on my like little red light bulb to dim down the lighting situation, and I'll put on some music, and then I'll just like dance to the music facing my mirror, and I find myself observing myself in like a second person sort of way. It's weird. It's very strange. And it's very cool. And I think in a lot of modern society contexts, people would be like, that's mental illness. Not exactly judgy like that, but it's gonna set them on the edge of discomfort of... I think the fact of like enjoying time and space with just yourself is very foreign to a lot of folks. And I think that's also been kind of going hand in hand with the development of social media too. It never feels like we're alone anymore, because we're either constantly looking at someone else's lives on our screens, or we're performing for other people to look at us on their screens. And it's it almost feels like a luxury to just find interest in spending time with yourself. Because in retrospect, a lot of the most fascinating parts of dating is kind of re-experiencing yourself through the projection of someone else's perspective of who you are, right? A lot of the initial stages of dating is a sort of performance. It might not be like a conscious performance, but I think it is. You think about how to present yourself to the other person, you think about what to say, when to say it, when to reveal the details, how much is too much, you know. There's a lot of metacognition happening during the earlier stages of dating that is all about curation of yourself and creating a sort of identity that would be palatable for both you and the person that you're dating. And when I stopped dating, I was like, oh, why can't I just do that with myself without someone else? Like, that could be a cool experiment. And indeed it is. I'm exhausted. I think making 2 loaves of bread and going shopping and feeling like shit mentally and possibly physically is a lot. But that was another 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, how time flies when you are just talking nonstop. Decreasing to 400 degrees. The cinnamon sugar is escaping. It is escaping. But that bread looks very nicely proofed. Oh, we forgot to slice the rye bread. Oopsies. Well, too late now. Okay, 20 more minutes on the timer. The rack is no longer sizzling hot. That's great. Okay. And it is time for me to pee again because I drank too much water, I think. BRB. We'll make salmon after this. did I. It is silk. I think I bought it for like $4, maybe $6 years ago. I don't think I wore it. I think I bought it when I was on my first round of Hinge. So that was like 2022, end of 2022. So I've had it for over 2 years. And I finally started wearing it. Love the way it feels, love the way it looks. And of course I've already gotten it dirty. But that's why I thrift shit, so I don't feel bad when I get things dirty. Okay. So, we have a little bit of canned salmon left, and there's salmon juice in here, which is salty, but I was thinking I can bulk it up with psyllium husk and maybe a little bit of other ground up grains, and we'll see. I have this pancake waffle mix that is breadfruit, pancake and waffle mix. It has wholemeal breadfruit flour, whole grain brown rice flour, baking powder, and baking soda. So maybe a little bit of psyllium husk, maybe a little bit of this, and then maybe a little bit of chia seeds and all of our toasted seeds and a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we could make it into a patty and cook it up. Salmon-y. I'm just gonna make it straight in here because I'm so exhausted. This is toasted caraway seeds from making bread. I'm gonna put in a little bit of black pepper, white pepper, coriander right in there. Definitely don't need any more salt, but we could go in with a little bit of turmeric. Haven't eaten that in a long time this week. And let's add in our psyllium. 1 tablespoon-ish to start. Ooh. Because that'll basically bulk up the liquid in there. Why can't you add chia seeds to anything? Chia seeds bloat in water too. So there goes the chia seeds. Why, you can definitely add any seed you want to pancakes, why not? But I'm making like a salmon burger. I'm just kind of filling out the juice of the canned salmon with some starch so that it binds together. So I'm just gonna give that a little stir and see how that feels. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be eating this with ketchup, for surezies. Don't worry. Oh, and I should definitely chop up some dill for this. I have so much dill.
I never think I buy enough vegetables, and then at the end of the week, I'm like, why did you buy so much vegetables? I should also probably add garlic powder, onion powder. Ooh, actually, I'll add in a little bit of hatch green chili. I feel like that's gonna be delicious. And a little bit of smoked paprika. Love it, love it. A little bit of hot paprika. I've had some of these spices for 2 years. I started working for Burlap and Barrel in February of 2023. I still have some of the spices that are ordered immediately when I started. They last a long time. And I cook a lot. Wild. All right, we're getting to burger territory, I guess. Like a very trashy burger. Probably would be better if I could actually stir this shit up in a bigger container, but we're low on brain power today, so. It's funny how inefficient being lazy is sometimes. Just like how expensive it is to be poor.
that bread is spilling so bad, and that sugar is spilling so bad too. Okay. I ran out of vinegar, so I bought myself some rice wine vinegar today, and I saw this like extra fancy one that is imported from Japan, so of course I had to buy it. And I bought this one, made in the USA. Haven't bought rice wine vinegar since I left Delish, I feel like. So this is 24 ounce, this was $5, and this one is like 12 ounce, 16 ounce. And this was $6. So this is 50% more for 20% less. Curious to see if there's gonna be a taste difference. Oh yeah, the Tudor porchetta is amazing. Little palm-sized patties. I'm gonna reduce the oven temp to 375 now. Wait, did we talk about Eddington? Oh shit, I should have added nutritional yeast in these patties, damn it. Did we talk about Eddington? Did we talk about people's thoughts on Eddington? Have you seen it? I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
that was 30 minutes baking. I'm going to set up racks here. We're gonna pull out the brioche one first and see if it's up to temp. Oh yeah, explosive loaf. We're hitting 190 at least. If it's done, it should hit 200. And it will hit 190, 191, 192. Okay, I'm going to put it back for 5 more minutes. It is a little bit dark. I'm gonna turn it around. The rye looks very blonde. It actually looks like it hasn't baked at all, but the crust is very hard. So I'm just gonna test the temperature. See where it's sitting at. That way we get a better idea. Okay, yeah, that is definitely not done. It's only hitting 140, and it's a little bit raw. You can see that dough right there on the tip. So I'm gonna lift it out of its tray, put it directly in the oven. I'm gonna let it bake for 5 minutes in there for the cinnamon swirl. Pull that out, and then the rye will probably need another 15. I'm actually going to check up on the original recipe time for the rye because I'm curious. I feel like that one needed longer anyway. Oh yeah, it needed 35, so. With 2 breads in there, it'll probably need a little bit longer than my original recipe states for. Wow, guys. Wow. Let me move you from the charger so you can see how golden it is. Damn, that's golden. Okay, one-handed is not a good idea. Less golden. Not bad. Not bad. I'm being annoying by moving them around when I shouldn't be fucking with them at all because I want them to absorb the olive oil. It's good olive oil. I want it going into my patties. All of it. Drink it up. Drink it up.
sit. Got to sit. Wow, that's fascinating. You use the Riviera blend the most. I so rarely use that one. What do you use it on? I think it could be a matter of like flavor preferences too. I just don't know if I really go for the Mediterranean flavor profile that often, but I should definitely start using it more. Ooh, I like sitting. I like sitting a lot. Yes, the patties are like leftover canned salmon. I ate a can of salmon for 2 meals. I had a little bit left over, so I put some chia seeds, some psyllium husk, a little bit of this breadfruit pancake and waffle mix in there just to bulk it up, and then spices and dill. Let's take out the cinnamon swirl bread. I'll test it again. Put a timer on here for 10 minutes. Oh yeah, we're over 200 now, so we're good on this. Perfect. After the rye comes out, we should probably try to pop this out and put it on its side and let it cool off outside of the tins. I don't think the pancake mix is low carb. What kind of pancake mix would be low carb though? Like what would make a low carb pancake mix? I have some leftover blanched tofu. We could saute it up in that pan. That's got all the olive oils. Believe it or not, folks, I have to pee again. Is my bladder broken? Possibly. Excusez-moi.
is a hot plate. Let's use a not hot plate. Let's use a cute not hot plate. I got myself a bottle of natural ketchup, which uses cane sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. And I hate to say it, I don't know if it's placebo, but this does taste better than the high fructose corn syrup one. Oh, right on my shirt, of course. God damn it. I knew that was gonna happen. Alas, there's also ketchup all over my floor now. How delightful. Where is all of these? I'm finding all these other stains now. Oh my goodness. My life. My life. There's a spider in the corner that I'm pretty sure is dead. Here we go. The Hunt's ketchup I bought on Amazon because I had one of those gift cards that was so annoying. It only had like $1.70 left on it and I couldn't use it anywhere. So I found one of the cheapest things, which on Amazon at the time, this bottle of natural ketchup was only like $1.30. Tastes exactly like I expected it to, which is amazing. Glorious. All right, I think we can turn that off now. How beautiful. I'm scared of this ketchup bottle now. But we shall not fear. We shan't fear, we shall just distance. There we go. I don't even know. It's never splattered on me before. But of course it has to splatter on me when I'm wearing a silk shirt that I didn't want to wear for 3 years. Alright. $170, $180, $190. Yeah, we're good. We're going to turn this off. We're going to send the nuts back in. Just let them coast in the leftover heat. And we have reached 201 on this. Perfect. Feels a little bit stodgy. Probably could have proofed a little bit more, but so it goes. Two loaves of bread, plus salmon patties. May we all be so lucky to enjoy the fruits of our labor like such. I don't know if you can hear it from all the way over there, but listen. It's a very satisfying crunch. Light, wispy crunch. I'm gonna let this cool. I'm gonna do some dishes so that it doesn't become so overwhelming later. I'll be right there. worst is when it gets stuck. I think it's the cinnamon sugar. I think the cinnamon sugar got caramelized. Ooey gooey. All right, I'm just gonna let it rest then. Let it be, let it be. Can't worry about it if you can't do anything about it. Cheers. Wait. This is my third time asking about Eddington. I'm gonna scroll up and see what you guys said. Do you wonder if social media has soured dating? I think dating apps has soured dating. I think social media has soured a lot of things. Because I think social media has entirely changed our expectations for so many things in the world, including ourselves, things, each other, life. You know, if we didn't have social media, we would still have ways to compare our lives against other people's, but like I feel like social media worsened it by a lot. It made us all more miserable because we all think that other people's lives are going swimmingly, which is why I'm all for the sad representation in all areas of life, social media or IRL, because I'm just like, let's be real. Are y'all really all doing that good? Hey, Mammo! You smelling the salmon? Why does he have to sit somewhere where you can't see him? You're so weird, baby. Okay. Hi. No? You don't like it? No? What would you like, baby? Should we go somewhere? Ow. Oh, okay. Where do we want to go? Oh yes, rip up my mattress. Rip up my mattress. Hi, baby. He's got a lolly. I gave him a lolly earlier. He actually didn't finish it. Okay, don't eat my food. Let me get you your other lolly. Are you eating my food? Okay, good. Cass said a while back, has anyone been feeling like time has been going by unusually fast? You want a lolly? You want the rest of your lolly? No? You licked it. I didn't lick it. You licked it. You finish it. What if I break it up for you? Here. You want more? Oh, I see. You just didn't want to lick. You want to eat. Okay. I don't know. Time moves slow in current status, fast in retrospect. Time is time. Time is weird. Time is unpredictable. Time is not real. You sound like a little tiger. You liked it? Yes, my bed is your table. My bed is your dining table. You eat wherever you want to eat. You are my king. You rule over all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No more. I'm not sure about the net carbs on the pancake mix. And I'm so tired that I don't want to get up to my freezer, so I'm just gonna Google breadfruit pancake mix, because I'm willing to bet not a lot of companies have it. Nope, there it is.
Hi, baby. Did you like it?
I don't know why the front camera makes it look like there's a beauty mode happening. Oh, bye, baby. So yes, it is breadfruit, pancake and waffle mix, gluten-free, high fiber, plant-based, and 3 grams protein, 11 grams of natural fiber. That sounds like a lot. It's listing total carbohydrate as 24 grams per serving, 9%. So 8 servings per container. Each serving is 2 pancakes with 110 calories. Within that 110 calories, you have 24 grams carbs. So I don't think it's low carb. Doesn't seem like it. But yes, there's a lot of psyllium husk in here and chia seeds, so I guess I made it low carb. The ketchup, I'm comparing Hunt's to Hunt's. So it's just Hunt's normal versus Hunt's natural. One has high fructose, one has sugar, cane sugar. I haven't bought Heinz in a while because it hasn't really gone on sale. Hunt's was on sale for like $1. The high fructose one was $1 at my store, and this one was $1.30 on Amazon. So I feel like ketchup's ketchup, but hi Kathy. Hope you're having a good week too. Rice, veg, chicken stock, half and half. Wow, that sounds like a hearty soup. Yum. Trash soup. Okay, I don't think you guys talked about Eddington. Did nobody watch it? Okay. Yes, this is salmon patties. The caraway seeds in here makes it taste a little medicinal, which I kind of like. It kind of tastes like woody mint. Caraway tastes like woody mint to me. So my college friend told me to watch Eddington, so I did. It's a very fun satire, social critique movie on everything that's happened since 2020, the pandemic age. I think personally the first hour was kind of slow, but I spoiled the movie for myself, as I usually do, by reading the plot summary on Wikipedia, and I knew that there would be some shit going down, so I stuck around for it, and I'm glad I watched it. It was it's one of those movies that, like, when you watch it, you're like, this is silly, but then after you finish it, you're like, and then it starts kind of like sprouting in your brain. And if you are the type to get really into the lore and interpretation of a movie, if you like to like research into all the little tidbits that you found in the movie, this is a really good movie for that kind of thing. Yum. Let's see how many things I can carry. I wonder if it's stuck on the bottom, which would make this very, very difficult to extract, unfortunately. Because I did clean all the sides. Huzzah! Huzzah! Okay, it looks really dark on camera. It's not burnt, I promise you. It is dark, but it is not burnt. He's so funny today. He's being such a silly boy. Definitely got a little caramelized from the olive oil and the cinnamon sugar, but judging from this color right here, it's probably really nicely baked on the inside. It's just a little dark on the outside, which is to be expected when I cranked it all the way up to 425. But yay, we did it! And I have one more patty to eat. I'm very terrified of this ketchup now. Have no fear. Shall we go see what Memo's up to again? He was stalking me outside of the kitchen. That's strange. Are you lonely? Do you want one more lolly? We can have more lolly, you know. We can't have lollies every time you want a lolly. That's silly. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Come here. Oh, you decided to stay alive, did you? You decided to stay alive. You did. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah. I'm so glad you're here. This is my life now, guys. I cook a little food, I pet my cat, I talk to nobody. Like a crazy person, like a crazy cat lady. This was my destiny. Just to be a crazy cat lady.
And the black box you see up there, that's Mom and Grandma's ashes. It's a 4-person household right in here. I don't know how many of you tuned in to hear me talk about the roach incident, but ever since I moved everything out of order after the roach chase, I decided, since Memo doesn't use that cat tree anymore ever since I got him the bigger one in the corner there, that I would put Mom and Grandma up there, sort of like a little more respectable place for my elders. Hmm? Yes, butt elevator. Butt elevator. Are you camera shy? You're a little camera shy? All right, folks. Well, that's all I got for you today. I'm simply exhausted. Thank you so much for joining me for the first bake in a long while. Have a great week. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow, maybe not. Who knows? Bye.